Thank you so much for these great people on the screen here. They are supporting our channel to bring you more education like this. If you are interested in joining the crew, come on down. The link is in the description below. Yes, sorry, it's been a while since I've uploaded. I've been swamped teaching and the business, but just wanted to bring you along the journey, make a quick upload for you about a student, not necessarily a student, a former coach of mine who's actually going to try out for stage 1 of the LPGA Q school in a couple of months. So I've been working pretty hard with her and trying to help her get her confidence up and her swing mechanics. But this came to me because I'm always a adamant person about looking at your setup and how things can start to get away from you, and all of a sudden your consistency goes down, then your confidence struggles, and it's just a downward spiral from there. So 2 videos I've got for you. One is going to be of Bethany, and then the other one's going to be of myself, because yes, I actually hit some golf balls that day, and this was a few days ago. But what I want you to look at is how simple setup changes can drastically affect your swing without you even knowing it. Then we're also going to take a look at a different view that I think can explain a little bit better. But let's just start talking about what Bethany's been working on. So we've got our usual lines straight away. We got the mellow yellows doing our plain lines, the Barney purple showing our spine angle line, and that red line is actually the centeredness check from the arches of the heel straight up. Can you notice a difference right away? And so we see over time what has happened is, and this is just like that neighbor's yard thing I keep talking about. If you're mowing your yard and you cut 1 inch further every single time you mow the lawn, next thing you know, you're completely in the other neighbor's yard. So this is what happens with us on a daily basis. We start feeling things. We start reaching a little bit more. Next thing you know, we're way outside. So you can see the difference here. Look at the centeredness check. We're going to draw this in green. It's a green circle. We can see that. Look at her centeredness of her spine angle and where the lower plane meets. One is truly connected on the right side of the screen to her centeredness check. The other one is toe base. Now, when this occurred, I got this text last night, and this was her last night practicing on the left side, and she's saying that she can barely hit the golf ball. She shot 82, and for her, that is very high. She typically shoots anywhere from even par to 3 or 4 under at PGA West. So for her to shoot 82 this close to stage 1 of the LPGA qualifying, it's pretty scary. So without going into some swing changes dramatically, I said, let's take a look at your setup and let's see what's going on. So we can immediately see a completely different setup, and what this will cause is some plane issues, some weight centeredness issues. And we take a look at the top of her swing here. She still gets to a pretty decent secondary plane line. The club, however, on the right side of the screen goes much deeper because she is more centered. Now, when you are stuck on your toes, you're shifting your depth of your club along with that centeredness. So to make it simpler, this is the same club. I told her, make sure you send me the same club. So if we take a look at the difference here, and we're going to draw some other pattern I can do here. No other patterns. They need like a box here. Let's just draw a green arrow from that centeredness check to where the club gets deep. So we have that arrow left side. Right to the screen, we won't have an arrow because the centeredness check is correct. But let's take a look at the difference between the right arrow now and how deep her club is related to her. And you'll see it's the same difference on the depth. Now, what does that mean? If I draw another line from the grip of the club straight down to the ground, we can see the big difference is that club now is definitely more behind her, relatively speaking. So this will be a little bit easier to drop in the slot. She can come from the inside a little bit more, release naturally. So just to show you, I mean, this is somebody that is a very gifted player, can shoot very low when needed to, but the same thing can happen with you. Is next thing you know, you're doing something that might feel the same way, but when you watch it on video, you go, oh my God, that looks completely different in terms of your setup, because feeling can lie to you, and searching for feelings can also lie to you too. So we're not going to change her swing right now. We're going to look at the setup change and see if her ball strike can go back to something that she believes in herself with. Now, I happened to hit a golf ball the other day over there too. Now, I'm going to put up my video just to show you what happened to me. And this is also something I did not think about. And so, yes, I actually got to hit some balls the other day with her. I felt, let me just hit a golf ball every now and then. So the one on the right side is from a few days ago. The one on the left side is from a year ago. And yes, I see I have the same shorts on. Thank God I don't have the same shirt and shoes. You guys might think I'm homeless living out of a van. So if you do have any pant coupons or short coupons you want to send me, so I can go get some other shorts so I don't look like, one short Charlie over here. So the one thing I really focused on couple of days ago. It's like, look, Tony, I don't play enough anymore to swing like the guy on the left side with that flappy flying right elbow where I have to get time a lot more into. So let me just think about taking my backswing to about hip height. I'm talking hip height. And look at my backswing. It is almost a full backswing. So when you are working with things that you're used to, you've got to feel like it's an exaggerated motion. Let's shift the views. We're going to shift the view on me, and then we're going to go to Bethany to show you her view shift. And then maybe you can kind of see where your compensations are. Here's my new motion. Now I've shifted the views to see if this makes sense to you. So that is parallel to the ground. Now we're going to look at where the club gets parallel to the ground. Now in a perfect world, we would be able to stand nice and tall, and this is more like swinging right out in front of us. But remember, if you get the club down over here, you run into a risk because this earth is moving up the closer it gets down to here. So this is Fatsville, this is chicken wing coming to Dinnerville because you have to pull up and not hit the ground. So you would like the club to be up in this region here, which is why some of the better players in the world started up there, because they don't want to, start it down and have to loop back up, or start it up and loop down. So we take a look. I'm starting at slightly lower of that, but my hands are doing a decent job. But once it gets to the top, watch where that club falls parallel. The club is parallel to my primary plane line way up here. Right, so now I've got some issues because it's way too steep to be parallel. If we're going to take a look at some of the best in the world, they get parallel pretty close to that lower plane line. So the first time your club gets parallel, where is it and how much room do you have in between? And now watch what happened. My hands move direction, but the club will remain parallel. Look at that, it's remaining parallel while my hands are moving, still remaining parallel. So I've built into my body a pretty good compensation. While my whole body is moving, my hands have figured out a way to keep that club parallel while my hands go down. That's not a good thing to happen, because I still need to hit hundreds of golf balls to time this. Because from this point, watch my hands. They're going to throw and boom, they release. Now, here's the interesting thing, and I want you to start to look at this on your own. So if we're going to draw this in different colors. Here's the last time I see that club parallel with my planes, my lower plane lines. Here's the next frame. Now I'm going to draw a straight line from here. Now we're going to watch as I strike the golf ball. My hands are going to have to work this way. Now when they work this way to straighten things out again, my release is probably going to match that red line. So 1, 2, we strike the golf ball, watch my exit path. There's my exit path. We're going to draw a straight line. They're parallel to my entrance path with that little bit of manipulation. Now, this could just be a one-off, but in order to see if it's true or not, let's go look at my old motion. So we're going to go to the top of the swing again. Look at this. It's already pre-built for me. So we're going to take a look at where does my club get to parallel. So again, it crosses the line, and now boom, it's parallel. So, it's parallel a little too high still, although it's slightly lower. We're going to see the framework is not quite there. Now, it's a good thing that the club is working towards a lower plane line. It should work that way. The club should work towards that lower plane line while your hands are moving up. That's just you tilting and turning and changing that angle. But if you can get that to occur closer to the golf ball, you're doing pretty good. And the amount that it does it is a big thing. So in other words, if you're at the top and you've already reached parallel, you've got to do a lot of manipulation to get that club head to fall to that lower plane line, and that changes the path of your hands, which then requires you to throw. So as I get to the next plane line, we're going to extend that plane line and watch the exit pass. So there's my flippy throwy, and there's the release. So there's the release line. Then you can see it's pretty close to that parallel. It's not quite there yet. So that just shows you that even if I time this pretty well, I'm not exactly where I need to be. And that's going to be an issue for me. Now let's take a look at Bethany and see what she does. So I have her somewhere over here, right there. So we're going to look at Bethany's older motion, because that's the one where she just flushes it. So remember these parallel lines, right? So we get to the top of the swing, we can see where does she get to parallel. Watch where she gets to parallel. Right there, look at that. It's so much closer than where I am at parallel, which requires less manipulation. Her club head will fall below the plane, so she gets pretty shallow on most of her clubs, and her hands work above, which is fine. That's the tilting and the rotation. You're changing the entrance point. So this is why she hits the driver so far, because she comes so far up. Now there's another reason for the irons for this, is she's trying to avoid swinging down because of a wrist injury. So I get this, and we'll still see some manipulation. So what we'll do is we'll draw that line again. We'll extend that out to here, and as she strikes it, look at that. She's fallen into parallel right there. So that all these lines are looking pretty good. As she releases, watch the exit. The exit is going to be pretty close to the entrance parallel of where she was. So it's all about, getting the club down to that parallel later if possible, which requires less manipulation ideally, and then you can hold that through without flicking the wrists. Now it all depends on obviously wrist injuries, mobility, but the key thing is your setup needs to accommodate this. So if we back her up to the beginning, and let's redraw this in yellow, let's do the arches of the heel, straight to the sky. I gotta look kind of crooked here. That looks like it's about straight to the sky. And then there's her spine angle. We should still be able to hold our spine angle and remain centered. So she's still pretty good with her center check, because that's where all those lower plane lines run into each other. So this is the importance of being set up correctly. So if you start getting too toe based or too heel based, and your plane work doesn't work correctly around that, and you're not physically capable of being in that new weighting, you might run into some issues. But Tony, that's just you, this golf pro chop that can probably barely break 80 and a very accomplished future LPGA Tour player. Let's take a look at two of the best in the world. And yes, we're gonna put them right up there. Tiger Woods and Mr. Hogan. Let's take a look at their crookedness and see what we come up with. Let's first look at Tiger. Now, where's Tiger? He's over here. Okay, so let's draw Tiger's lines. Going to draw that plane. That's very hard to see. So let's do this in our mellow yellow line. And we're going to look at the top of the swing here. Where does his club fall into parallel? Right there. So he's pretty close, right? That's pretty close. That looks more like Bethany, not the chopping jabroni like me. But as we get down into impact, we can see, again, that club is going to move towards that lower plane line. And the hands don't move as much as Bethany. We won't require as much, but we'll still take a look at this exit path. So let's draw a new line right here. That's the extension of that club shaft. As we strike the golf ball, we see it's pretty close to where the entrance plane work was, and as we follow through, and the exit path is still veering towards the entrance path. Now that is conservation of angular momentum. He is able to conserve that, get it on the lower plane line. The later you can get it parallel towards impact, the less manipulation you need, and the more body can strike that golf ball, which is why he was able to just pummel the golf ball. But we gotta take a look at the man of the hour, the chicken hawk. Isn't that chicken hawk? No, the silver hawk. What's his name? Hawk. I think it's just Hawk, right? Chicken Hawk. All right, so let's take a look at the parallel, and let's take a look at where does he get his club. Look at this. Man, it is the other way. He's going this way, but take a look. Where does it get to parallel? Bam! Look how close it is right there. No wonder this guy can just stripe golf balls. He got it right there pretty quick in his downswing to get it that close. We take a look as he strikes the next frame. I think it's just one more frame. Now he's at impact. But if you look at your swing, let's just watch this one. If you look at your swing, try to look at it from different views that make a little bit more sense to you. I'm not saying you need to sit there and crop your video and turn it sideways, but maybe just understand cause and effect around your setup, and how a simple setup change, whether you like the setup change, whether it happened organically, or whether it just you decided on your own, I'm going to do this setup change, make sure it works correct for you. And I do hope you like that. I know this is not a usual video, but it's just a video I wanted to just catch up and get back into the rhythm of things. So look out for more videos this week. Other than that, I'll see you next time. Fairways and Greens.